Hey, folks, thank you for joining us again for another exciting episode of Yoml. This is the Year of Magical Learning podcast. So today we're on Reflection 254, and it's a brand new book. And we want to talk about The Good Good Pig, The Extraordinary Life of Christopher Hogwood
Dude,
by
I
huh?
Cy Montgomery. Yeah, no, I was gonna say, dude,
Simon Montgomery.
I cannot ever hear the name Christopher Hogwood without like smiling. Like it just like I love
You know
like
who
when
he is?
no, it's a pig. Christopher Hogwood's a pig.
Okay.
That's the name of the pig of the good pig. So this book is this book is about this pig named Christopher Hogwood. That's the pig's name, and Cy
Okay.
Montgomery is the author of this book, and she adopted. She loves animals, and she adopted Christopher Hogwood. He was he was the runt of the litter, and he was going to be killed. So like I guess they killed the runts of the litter because they're just not ever going to get fat enough, and that's like they just can't eat it. They just can't eat enough fast enough, and they get dominated by their siblings and
Siblings.
stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. So then they end up getting ostracized and they die, right? So most of the time, apparently, that's what I learned in this book. Most of the time, like farmers kill the run of the litter, or they they just don't want to torture them because they can't. They're not going to be able to feed. They're not going to be able to eat. They're not going to be able to get enough food, and they're not going to be able to grow fast enough, and they're not going to be able to survive. So this particular little piglet, his name was Christopher, Christopher Hogwood, and he, was the runt of the litter, and he was, going to be put down by their owners. And Cy Montgomery, she owns a little like rural farm, and she's also an author and things like that. So she got an opportunity to adopt Christopher when he was a little runt piglet, and she did, and he went on to live a very happy life, and he was a good pig. That was
Mm-hmm.
this is the story about Christopher's life, and all the joy that he brought to so many people around him, and he was really a good pig. It was a fun story. The reflection title for this one is "Love Your Slops," right? So Christopher, like I said, he was the runt of the litter, right? So um, they when they adopted him for whatever reason, like what I learned in this book, talk about everybody has a purpose, right? Do you know what a pig's purpose is?
Bacon.
No, but bacon is delicious. But no, do you know? Take a guess. What do you think a pig's purpose is?
And to clean up after people's leftovers.
Their job is to eat everything. Like they will eat anything and everything. It does not matter. Like they are just eating machines. Like you put anything in front of him, and he will,
Mm-hmm.
and they will devour it. Like they don't give a shit at all. Like what they eat. They just are like, oh my god, food! I can eat all day long. Like their eyes like light up with joy, and they just go to town on food, because that's like
Mm-hmm.
that's their beavering on purpose, is just eating. Like that's what they do.
That's a
Christopher,
good life.
it is. It's a good life. So Christopher, uh, he, um, you know, because he was the run of the litter. Like when Cy adopted him and they took him back to the house, he just would pig out like crazy. Like talk about pigs that like beavering on purpose. Like Christopher, just whenever he got slops, whatever was from the table, whatever they would have, the neighbors would bring by a bunch of stuff, and they would just drop off all their old food or whatever for Christopher, and like everybody would come say hi to him, and he just this pig just freaking loved. He would eat everything, and he would get all these slops, and he would just go to town on it every single time. And it made me, as I was listening to this, and as we've talked about in this journey a lot, everybody has a purpose, and that's the pig's purpose, is to love their slops. And whenever that guy got a chance to eat his slops, Christopher Hogwood like was in pure pig heaven, right? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Every
Mm-hmm.
single day. And it reminded me, that we all have a purpose too. And you never know. Like Christopher was the runt. Like, he was probably not, shouldn't be here. I mean, in most scenarios, like Christopher probably would have died. But every day he didn't. He shouldn't be here, and he survived. So I feel like it was even more special for Christopher whenever he got a chance to eat his slops every single day. And it just reminded me though of like our own meaningful work, right? Like every single day isn't your best day ever. Every single day isn't you're not going to win the Olympic gold medal or something like that. But damn it, like if you get a chance to eat those slops every single day, like and do your meaningful work, like freaking love it, like and embrace it, like and just like gobble that shit up. Like I was thinking about that as I was writing this reflection when I was writing it. It's like, man, I'm Christopher right now. I'm just gobbling up, being able in my little happy zone with Amelia and I writing about a book that we read and what we learned, and sharing this, and it's fulfilling, right? Like like it's just something where you get done with your meaningful work and you smile, and it's and it puts a happiness on your face. And who the hell knows if you're ever going to get a chance to eat those slops again, right? So if you get a chance, eat your damn slops, right? And enjoy your meaningful work, and just take it day by day, right? So that was my lesson for this one is love your slops. So yeah, I'd love to get your thoughts.
It reminds me of the episode when we're talking about eating marshmallow. It's fucking eating small marshmallow. No,
That's right.
I mean the point is, what's the point of life, right? I mean,
Do what you
the
love.
thing you do, you need to love it, because when you do things like the pig, he lives his purpose. It is not a question whether he loves it. It's definitely you will love whatever it is that you're made to do. You're gonna love it. Like a donkey will love galloping outside in the field. Christians may love playing tennis. I mean, it's just the way that we are built, right? We're built for a certain thing, for a certain tendency, and if we allow our tendency to play out, we love those effort, those activities. And the thing is, people, because of our advanced complexities in civilizations and conditioning, we become reserved in what we do. We say, well, society tells me I must be like this person. It is better to be this person than to be who I am. And
Right.
you look at the people that you talk to today, there's something about themselves they don't like. What is that?
Uh,
Because they're told that, hey, this is not what you're supposed to do. Just like, for example, you in grade school. I mean, you being Chris Sears is disrupting to the society, to the classroom. And they
that's
say,
true.
Chris, I gotta call your mother. You are a bad boy. Go time out, go to that corner. You're being conditioned for that. You're
That's
just
true.
being yourself, all right? You think about it.
Yeah. Oh
You are
yeah.
not allowed to express Chris Sears. You
Yeah.
cannot.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what society thinks. And there's the reason why when you go up, you say, well, I'm not like that person. Why? Because over the years, they have been conditioning you to think in a certain way. So right now, every kid say, well, you know, somebody say, I want to be, I want to be white. I want to be Asian. I want to be this. I want to be that. I say, so whatever something is, they don't think they don't have a high self-esteem of themselves. You look at all the kids today, they have a very low self-esteem. Why is that?
Probably because they don't know what they want. They can't do what they want to do. I mean, like,
Is not exactly is that they cannot do what they want to do. Is the is
they're
the
they're on a vegan diet when they're a pig and they just want to eat everything. Like, I mean, they're like, I don't want to eat lettuce, man. I want to eat all of it. Like, like, yeah,
exactly. I mean, and that's the tragedy of it. You putting a lid on your tendency. You telling you people, hey, don't do that, right? You say, hey, don't breathe. Hey, don't. If you say, your love for water, your love for air, your love for food, your love for whatever, and you say, hey, you can't do that. It is the most difficult thing ever. To me, like I told you before, it is super hard to restrain yourself. It's
Mhm.
super hard to restrain yourself from what you love, what you yearn for. I mean, this is where people become depressed and say, well, what's the point of life? Life isn't worth living if I can't get to do it. You look at the donkey, right? I mean, go back to the donkey again.
Sherman,
If
Sherman.
Sherman, right? It's like, well, I'm in the shed. What am I to do now? And there's nothing out there for me. There's nothing I want in here.
Yeah,
And so I'm slowly gonna go at death's door and ready to get out of here. But when you bring me back to what I enjoy, right? I recover. I become better. So it's a tragedy, really. It's people to, I guess, become delusional in seeing, like, this is what I'm saying before, yesterday as well. Is because of all this underdog story. I mean, the underdog story is like one in a million, right? and everybody's looking at, hey, everybody's supposed to be like Rudy, or everybody's supposed to be like Snow White, everybody's supposed to be like Cinderella, or whatever. Mike, like 1 in a million of people can be like Mike, which
Right.
is Mike, right? 1 in a billion, which is Mike, and so we are sold this narrative of have a hero. Like you ask me, who's your hero? It's like, what do you mean hero? I mean, I like somebody. I
Right.
mean,
Well,
but
I know who
doesn't mean
my
I
hero
want
is.
to be them, right?
That's true. Well, I think heroes are people you
I was,
admire because they're not you. I think that's what a hero is, because you look at them and you go,
but
man, that's
yes,
not me. That's them
I
being them. You know.
I understand what you mean, but that's not the story I was sold though. The story I was sold is that be like Mike. What does that mean?
I don't know, actually. I mean,
I didn't say that. Be
he was
like
kind of
Mike.
a dick, actually, to a lot of people. Is that what it means? You got to be a
I
dick
mean,
to everybody, you know?
be like Elon Musk. That's what people tell you. Be
Yeah,
like, it's like you supposed to be like that person, not like, oh, I admire that person. No, it's not. You're not. You say, hey, hero is this that, but that's you can debate the you know the meaning of what that word means, but what you sold is something else.
right.
You sold this narrative to say, hey, you gotta be like that person. You have to be this beautiful. You have to be this skinny. Look at the magazine, right? I mean, you look at the physics of a man or a woman, like, hey, you have to be this, right? But that's not reality. And the thing is not reality in terms of what is practical, and also what
It's not even
people.
reality, because it's enhanced with drugs most of the time, and you know, and it's not even
So,
real, like, and it's not
so
sustainable either, you know.
it's not sustainable, but it's also wrong because the thing is the ideal, the image of an ideal person of you know of a woman isn't to have rib showing on their bellies, you know that saying I have to be this kind of skinny. No, you don't, because no one wants that.
Right. That's
the
true.
the the, the guys average, most the majority of the men don't actually want the skinniest one,
Right.
right? You want proportions, right? And even in those, there are variations in the preferences. And so the magazine that put it together, it's basically a group of people, maybe a group of 5 people, and one editor said, "Hey, I think this. I will decide who." What is the physics of a person is, and you sold that story by that one person who decides that
Well,
for
now
millions of girls with
they have
millions of
AI
boys.
now. Like, they have AI generators of models now, that are already coming out of, like, hey, this is what physical beauty should look like, you know, and they're generating images of with AI. They're saying, like, hey,
But
this is
but the thing is, the AI isn't. Uh, Even the AI doesn't have the data to like average out all these preferences.
yeah.
And like I said, you averaging something out, it's going to be far from the closest to your ideal, because your ideal is completely different than another person's ideal. But they
Yeah,
take
I mean,
everybody's idea when you put them together. Hey, the man should be like this. So everybody say, hey, you should be like this person. Like I say, hey, men don't show emotions. Like a woman, you need to be boss babe, but whatever
right,
nowadays.
right,
Before they say, hey,
right,
you got to be, very, very, I guess, soft, sweet, and caring. That's what
right.
they portray a woman back then. Now they say, hey, woman's supposed to be independent, supposed to don't take no shit from no one, like especially from men. It's like, where did that come from?
I don't know. I
But
actually, I don't know. We were I was
but
this
but
brings up
but yeah.
like, an interesting question. Sorry, like, if you go ahead, if you want to keep going. Yeah.
But my point isn't to discuss what it is. I'm saying is there is a narrative that isn't accurate,
Right.
and what we are told nowadays is completely confuses a lot of our youngsters and the people that is doing the things, like for us too, for us in the 30s and 40s and 50s, right? We are still in this rat race of, hey, I gotta go, um you know do my job. Even if I hate my job, I still gotta do that. I mean, even us, right, are being pressured to do things what I want to do. I mean, imagine the younger generation where they are
Oh yeah.
completely like, hey, thrown out the window with like COVID, with all the stuff. No one's helping them, guiding them through anything, and they have to cope by themselves. And so they completely lost.
Right. Yeah, no,
right?
they totally are. I mean, not only that, I feel like I feel like the message that they get today, and I'm not, a 20 something anymore, so I don't know, but and I'm not actually, I'm closer to 40 something now than I am a 20 something. So like this is total just speculation at this point in time. But I actually feel like they've been given this purpose driven message. They've received it for a long time now from my generation and our generation in general, um, and they feel like they need to be, if they're not living a purpose driven life and they're not living a life of values and they're not living like all these things, like that they're somehow doing it wrong, so they like rush through it, right? They think that they can just like, if it's not the exact right fit, like, there's nothing we learn here, I'm moving on. Not the right fit, moving on. Not the right fit, moving on. I think they're actually to the other side of it, where they don't even give things time to develop, and learn, right? Like it just naturally learn. And I don't know if that's, accurate or not. It just seems to be my observation from what I've been dealing with like, some of my younger colleagues of, they want, they crave a purpose driven existence at this point in time. I don't even know that I even knew what the word purpose driven was when I was, 22 years old. I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about, purpose driven? Like, what do you mean? I just gotta work. Like, I gotta get my job done so I can, so I can go play pickleball or something like that. You know what I mean? Like that was my purpose driven. It was like, what do you mean? I just got to go and I got to do this. Like, and I got to do it the best I can, because like I got to save money and buy
Yeah,
a
because
house and
in
whatever.
our generations, right? In our generations, you have like the movie, the Rudy movie, right?
Right.
That's like once in 10 years, 20 years. In this generation, it's like every fucking 6 months, somebody will come out with some kind of this incredible, inspiring story that is
Right.
it's
All
non
over the
it's
place.
delusional. So the problem I see nowadays, and the way, in my opinion, comes from watching my kids. Because my kids, my oldest is
Yeah.
17,
Right.
15,
She's living
13,
this
and a
every day.
10, right? And I see them because they're completely overloaded by these things. Where I mean, it's not only that it's a clashing of all of the things that comes at you like a 500, like drinking from a 500 fire hose, in America, but also international. You
Right.
have like movies and um, websites and TikToks and videos from all over the world, and all of these, like, it's 100 times more information than we have, probably 1,000 times more information than we have, and they are bombarded with that today, and so they're completely lost. They yearn for just a little bit of stability. Hey, at least, maybe I live in a small town where the only thing I can do is, go out there and kick around rocks or whatever. I mean, even that gives you, hey, I have something I like to do. I have an anchor. I have a purpose. But in today's society, it's like you're completely like disconnected because you cannot connect to anything that moves that fast.
Right.
And in order for anyone to find a purpose is so difficult, without any kind of guidance
Well,
from somebody who has been
I
there
don't, I
before.
just don't think you find a purpose like that. Like this isn't like, purpose isn't something you just find. I think purpose is something that finds you, but it finds you as you're living your values, right? And you're doing the things, you're eating your slops. Like your purpose finds you. Like Christopher Hogwood's purpose, was to bring joy to so many people. They loved bringing him slops every single day. Like it would bring people over to the house. They followed along with him. He became a little local celebrity. Like he this little pig that should have died, spent 15 years of being like a local celebrity around where they were from, and people loved Christopher Hogwood. Like him doing his purpose brought other people joy, and he found his by loving his slaps, right? Like he found his purpose, which was to give joy to other people while he was
But that's
just
not
doing what he
easy for
loves.
human beings because we
Right,
are so complex. Like I say, you can go and do things that you don't want to do because you have the
right,
ability.
right,
You have the ability to do things that, I mean, you have 1,000 options. A pig have one option. So for him to uncover the layer of the onions and find his purpose is pretty easy. But for a
right.
a human being, it's difficult because there's thousand things you can do, but which one is the one
Millions,
that
it's
I mean,
billions, like it's infinite.
millions, and so by the time I try, I'm always like, oh yeah, I found my purpose. Like, okay, how long did it took you to even find these things? I mean, it's trying to find a needle in haystack, but in the meantime, you also being distracted by other shiny things. And hey, you're trying to, through the millions of let's say there's millions of beans with the numbers on it, and you find the right number for you, right? You keep flipping beans, and then suddenly you say, hey, you're over there, somebody distract you, so you can't continue to count anymore.
Right.
They keep distracting you with all these things that they come out, and they are you, and especially with the social media, they are basically exploiting the weakness of human psychology to get you
be addicted.
to be
So,
addicted.
yeah,
And you're
yeah,
talking about like
to capture your attention and
and
keep you
they
away from
call
what you
they
want to
call
do.
you a user, right?
Right.
Users,
Yeah, that's a good point.
in the days when the only
Drugs.
I guess the industry that calls you users are drug dealers.
Drug dealer. Well,
But now it's
that and tech companies, yeah.
but tech
And
company, their whole purpose is say in our think tank, our priority is to find out how to hook user, how to get more screen times on our app, on a phone, on whatever, like that. Whether they tell you, hey, we're gonna limit your whatever, that's just basically a scapegoat. But they continue to push these, just like we're talking about, like they limit people go surfing kind of deal. It's like, right? If you say, hey,
let me see. Let me show you this. I haven't been on Facebook, because I'm doing my month of hiatus or whatever. I guarantee there's going to be a ton of notifications on here, and I don't know, and I'm sure they're completely worthless. Where where do you go to notifications?
you got 9 notifications, 9 plus.
Where's
the
it
red?
at?
The red.
Oh yeah. Here, nine plus. So what does this even mean?
I mean, it's a 3 hour, 4, 7 hour, 5 hours.
None,
There you go. An
none of
hour
these
ago.
things, none of these things are even like, an actual message. These are just notifications that people posted something. You know what I mean? And apparently my grandmother sent me a friend request, which I already am friends with my grandmother. So I'm sure that's a spam thing. But like my point is, I'm going to get off here because I don't want to break my own, little, streak here. But my point of what I was showing you is like every single day that when my Facebook is on there, like it is constant ding, 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 and there is nothing happening. Like, I mean, like maybe somebody posted something, whatever, but nobody's like going, "Hey, Chris, I need you to do something," or I need an action to take place. It is literally just come back, just come back, just come back, just come back, just come back. Like that's all that the notification is saying. So every single fucking time that I get on my phone, like I see a Facebook, like 5, notifications. I'm like, oh, somebody actually needs something? Like, no, they don't. But I click on it every single damn time because I'm like, oh well, something, they notified me of something, and then I end up sucked into their time, scrolling through everything. Then I end up getting on a one of the real Facebook
So that's the
reels.
thing is where's the me time in this, right? There's no
Nothing.
me time, right? There's no me time, and that you even have time to breathe. I mean, you basically like trying to tread water in a wildlife, and you're constantly busy with something that is non-productive, not beneficial to you. And that's what I'm saying. It is very
It's insane.
difficult for the younger generations to, I
They
guess,
can't figure this stuff out. Like, I mean, how are they
find their
supposed to?
path.
Right.
They cannot find their path anymore because everybody is saying something this and that, and even you go to like the TikToks, the Facebook, the YouTube, like, and they say, well, you can make diamond by putting some coal in peanut butter and freeze it, right? You can
Can you
make.
really?
You think you can make diamonds by doing that?
I mean, is that like, did somebody do it? I don't know. I mean, like, did somebody do that?
But that's one of the things I saw my kids watch, like on YouTube. It's how to make diamonds by putting a piece of coal, put in peanut, and then freezing it for a couple of days, and take it out, and voila, there's diamonds. These
It
are
did
these are.
work.
What do you think?
I mean, I don't know. Now I'm curious. Did it work? Like, I mean,
That's a bunch of BS, but that's what people are looking at, and right? And there are things online that are true where people can put out some like real content and real educational guidance and for people to do, but
I mean,
it's
we're online. I mean, like,
it's
yeah.
like you're competing with like 90% of all the fake stuff and all the
Right.
clickbait, all the things, all the other content out there are intended to get you to watch something, to get you to, it basically trying to get your attention. It has no beneficial for you at all, because
Making you watch
most of these things
slaps.
do not work. I'm
Yeah.
not saying, say some of them do work and some of them are true. Just like what we do here. Like I'm not selling you anything, right?
Right.
And I'm not. I mean, I don't care if we had getting traffic. I mean, that has nothing to do with anything. But that's the thing is there is one of our podcast versus 100 of other ones that, hey, some BS stuff that people want to talk about. It's you are bombarding people with these attention getting, like you completely in this quantum world where everything is it's chaos, right?
Right.
It's you're living in that world. And if you don't have like a preference or tendency that you discover for yourself, then it's hard for you to grab onto something and hold on to it. You're basically being, I guess, washed by waves. Whatever the waves push you, you float towards that.
Right.
It, I mean, you say, well, if I live in a certain city, you're more likely to become whatever that city wants you to be. Like whether that, hey, I become this, fast talking lawyers or whatever, right? Psychiatrists. And you float towards, because that's society is going to push you towards that. And if you're in like the Midwest or the heart of the United States, you probably be a farmers, right? Because that's what
What? That's not what I don't live on a farm.
more more likely than not you will
No,
be that.
it's not more likely than not. You know how many people are actually farmers? You know how many farmers that I know growing up in my entire life?
And that's because you live in the city.
One. No, I've known one farmer. Like, and by the way, there are farms outside of the city. Like, I mean, like there's cornfields. You know, I mean, it's a 10-minute drive, and I can be in cornfields. Like, I don't know fucking farmers. Like, because people don't farm anymore. They have one person owns like hundreds and hundreds of acres, and they either sublet it. I mean, like, it's not. I went to an ag school, man. I went to Purdue, which is an engineering and agricultural school, and I
Well,
still
the
don't
thing
know
is,
any damn farmers
you in the minority. Why do you think there's an ag school there? If there's no
because
demand for
because
agriculture, there's no ag school. I mean,
oh no
you
no, half the state is
logically.
filled with corn. I mean,
No,
yeah,
but
for
I'm
sure,
talking about, why is there an ag school?
because they study corn and agriculture.
Because there are students in agriculture. That's
Mhm.
where there's an ag school. If
Yeah,
there's no demand to teach agriculture, there would not be an ag school. That's my point. My point
oh,
is
I
confirmed.
I I
You just
I
happen not to
agree.
be in the majority in where you reside. That doesn't mean that the
It's
fact
not the
and the
majority.
statistic.
I'm saying that even at that school,
Why
even
is
though it's
it?
an engineering and ag school, there's only maybe 5% of the campus is ag students. Like,
No, no,
yes,
no,
I
no.
pro how here I will tell you. Like,
I mean, they don't call it ag school because there's only 5% of the schools.
2,300 undergrads, right? There's 40,000 people that go to Purdue in undergrad.
What do you mean? It's
There,
three
there, there,
thousand.
there, there are 2,803 undergraduate enrollees in the Purdue School of Agriculture. There are
No,
40,000
no.
kids. Yeah,
That's
undergrads.
that's 3,000 per semester. That's
No,
enrolled.
this is
You don't. You don't
they're Purdue University's College of Agriculture welcomed 2000.
welcome. That means you
Welcome.
add it.
Okay, fine.
You
There's
add it.
and it also said this is the largest undergraduate enrollment. Fine. Let's say there's 6,000. Out of 40,000. What is that?
6,000. Where do you get six
Well,
thousand from?
people don't always go through and graduate. Like, I mean, like, it whittles down. If you start with a class of 2,800, like,
So it's engineering. So
I know,
it's
yeah,
anything else.
right. But there's still 40,000 kids that go to Purdue. Man,
What are you looking for? It's
it's
it's 10%.
15%, 15%,
See, 15%. I mean, even
15%.
even if you may think it's 3,000
You
per
said
semester.
50%.
I mean, the thing is, it's become a city, right? It's not agriculture all around, but I'm saying it's the agriculture. It's an ag school for a reason because it demands an ag teaching.
Yeah,
That's
because
what it's
15% of
ag.
the 15% of the population in Indiana farms. Actually, I want to know how many. Yeah. There are just over 94,000 farmers in Indiana, and there are more than 80% of the land is devoted to farms, forests, and woodlands. But let's see here. What is nine? I think there's like 10 million people live in the state. What is 94,000 divided by 10 million?
Roughly 10%.
No, it's not. Divided by 10 million? It's 0.0094%. Right? How many people live in Indiana? Oh, 6.86. Okay. That is 0.013%. So 1.3% of the population of Indiana is a farmer. 1.3%. It's not 50% of the population. It's a farmer.
Well, the thing is, farmer is probably not a good example, but I'm just saying because and like I say, it's not about whether or not the majority goes to farming because it's farms all around. It's what they want you to become. If they need you to become farmers, then they'll create ads and propaganda to make you farmers. If they want soldiers, they're gonna make ads and propaganda to make you soldiers. This is what I'm saying is, because right now, even though 80% of the land in the heart of the United States is farming land, but they don't want you to be farmers because farmers make a lot of money.
Well, they do. Well, they're subsidized by the government.
I mean, but the thing is, I think farmlands are very expensive. It's not like,
yeah,
hey, anyone can become a farmer because
yeah. No,
and you become
they're
a farm. I mean, expensive because even like for a tract of land to even make you like 20,000-40,000 a year, you need like I don't know how many acres, like
I don't know, 100. I don't know. I
100
mean,
acre, and how
yeah,
much is that? How much does that cost you in total land? So you can't just say,
pro-
hey, oh,
probably
I'm a nobody. I'm gonna go get me a piece of land,
right,
become a farmer. So they don't
right.
want you to be a farmer, even though yes. But I'm saying is the point I'm saying is yes, there is a societal directions in certain area. They want you to become certain thing. It's not about what's available. It's what they want you to become. And so they will create this agenda for you to act in a certain way, right? And that's why the population cannot have any kind of self-directed task because they are always bombarding with something to distract them with, especially
Yeah,
with social media, especially one because they have not get a grip on anything yet. They will be distracted and influenced by the things. They say, well, how do they know the right from wrong if everything you tell them is what's wrong is right? Hey, whatever he did is right, and you just basically cover up the facts of the other side. Like any story, like let's say somebody is at fault, and there's two sides to the thing, and you go to Wikipedia. Even for Wikipedia, you have people changing the narrative and adding like different facts, and sometimes never in fact sometimes it's just made up. And they quote unquote nowadays of all the social media, there's called this fact check stuff,
right,
and even the fact check is not even fact because the thing is they say, well, whatever you say it's true, but it's false, and whatever I say, even though it's false, it's true. So even with the fact check on Facebook, on Twitter, on whatever these sites are, it's not even real.
right.
So how do you know what is real, what it's not? So like I
I mean,
say,
you just gotta love
these,
your slaps, man. You
these
gotta find it out yourself, and then go whenever you figure that out. Like,
But
you
that's the
gotta,
thing is
you know,
the slops is where do you what is the chance for you to stumble on the slops? Like
it's
when
hard.
we're saying hey, breathing on purpose, like hey, how do I know I'm at the place and at the doing the things I'm supposed to do, right? It's
You
like
feel
by
good. You feel
chance. It's
good.
by
That's
chance. No, I
yeah, but
understand. I understand. There's this feedback. I feel good, and you love it, but how often do you stumble on that? It's not like everybody can start to stumble onto something. If you're being pushed away by this current of society conditioning, you probably would never have a chance to even stumble onto doing the like stumble on the slots that you like.
oh, I agree. I mean, I think the answer to your question, in my opinion, is, if you don't know where to start, just start. It doesn't matter. Do anything. Do anything, and you'll figure out, I like this, I don't like this. I like this, I don't like this. I don't like this, I like this. I like this, I don't like this, right? Then from there, find the source code behind all that. Like, it's not the activity that you like. It's there's something deeper that is driving you to want to engage in that particular activity. Then that's when you can discover your values. Then you can start to do your values on purpose, I think, is
This
the
is
next
why
step.
I really believe that it is necessary to have an organization like company, because
Yeah,
you think
help
about
people
it,
help
because
people find
because
their slaps.
people cannot anchor to anything, and they keep
Right.
floating onto this wave of whatever the masses. And
Right.
so if you go into this company surrounding, they say, well, okay, I need to ask you a question: is what is your core values? Because I'm asking you the
I don't
core
know.
value. I don't know. Then it makes you think.
Right.
Okay, he asked me what is my core value. Say, what the hell is that? Right? And then you start to say, well, okay, let's discover. Let's dive deeper. Because
Right.
right now, no one's asking you to do that. It's not asking you, hey, how you did it.
Well, there are
I
people that ask. They just ask you to pay $10,000 to go to a Tony Robbins conference, and then if you don't get it in a weekend, then well, sorry. Like, I mean, that's where that's your resources you have today. Is you want to find your purpose? You can go listen
But
to all these different.
what kind of student, what kind of a youngster be have $10,000 to put it in for 3 day weekend
No,
when they can't even afford the rents or the shirts on their
but
back.
true, but
And by
true.
the time they
When
have
you
that kind of
invest in
money,
yourself,
they completely too late. They're completely entrained into the narrative
yeah, yeah,
already.
but true. If you invest in yourself, I promise you, that is the best investment you will ever get. You will get that
No,
money
it's
back
not investing
100, 100
in
fold.
myself. It's investing in
I,
your
I'm
Porsche,
kidding.
your Ferrari.
I'm kidding. That's what they tell you. Is like, investing in your own self education
Meaning,
is,
I'm
is,
investing
is
into your and
right.
second
Yeah,
penthouse. Okay, it's
exactly.
not investing in myself. I'm not doing anything for myself. Just giving you $2,000.
I'm giving you $1,000 or $5,000 so you can tell me what my purpose is, or educate me, or help me to figure out my own shit. Or like, you don't think I may be able to do that? Maybe you just give me a community of people that want to do the same thing, and I'm sure we could all
I
figure
mean,
that out ourselves.
sometime when I watch Tony Robbins these events that it's I don't know, it's on YouTube, whatever. It's like, what the fuck? People believe anything he says.
Well, the thing is he's not like wrong. Like, I mean, what Tony Robbins preaches, and to be fair, I've never really dug into his practices, but like Darren Hardy, somebody I can talk to, right? Talk about, because I've spent every day with him for the past, I don't know, 7 years of my life, I feel like, or something like that. Every morning, I'll listen to his little Darren dailies, and he definitely has a similar message to what we're doing. The problem is, for him, is he asks you to go commit money up front, because he says, if you're not willing to put money in, then you're not going to be willing to want to grow. And part of that is kind of true. I would actually argue that we're actually arguing the opposite side of that. We're going to pay you money, like, to go figure this stuff out. Like, so not even, you're not even giving us money where you have like a loss aversion or something like that that's going to drive you. We're gonna literally pay you. Like, we're gonna do the exact opposite of that.
But
And if you still can't do that,
my
then
point though is, Chris, like this is reality, okay? Meaning, like, okay, there's a lot of this self-help professional out there. Tony Robbins, he's trying to help millions of people, but I don't see any, um, I guess, growth in terms of the population themselves. I see complete declines
Well,
in
Tony
terms
Robbins' bank
of.
account grows.
Well, but my point is, you're looking at the results. Okay,
Yeah, no, I'm
are there
kidding.
more people are lost, or there less people lost?
I mean, more.
So when you say, hey, these Tony Robbins and these gurus out there,
Well, I
they are helping people. Well, where
Oh
is.
no, I didn't say they're helping people. I said they have a similar message. I didn't say they're helping people. I said they have a similar message of what we're saying. We're just saying that we want to get to the fruits of the labor of your meaningful work, together, because that's what we care about. We don't care about you figuring out what your meaningful work is. We care about being able to help you to contribute to your
But the
meaningful
thing is,
work.
that's where I don't agree. Is I don't think the message is the same.
No, that's true. I mean, well, sorry, our objectives are not the same. Like, I mean, but like a lot of the concepts that like Darren talks about of like EQ and IQ and being able to
Well, we're talking about eating the frog. When we say,
right.
hey, don't eat the fucking frog. Hey, don't eat the marshmallow. I say, I fucking eat the marshmallow. Do you need a marshmallow? Do you want it?
I do,
Right?
I do.
What do you?
I'm
Right?
I want actually
Don't.
I could eat one right now actually.
You go to the Darren Hardys or the Tony Robbins and say, hey, you want to be a better man? You don't eat the marshmallow. We reserve until you fucking die before you do. It's like, is it possible for you and I to die tomorrow? Is it
Yeah,
possible?
so I'm
Right?
gonna eat my slops
So
every day and enjoy it.
so if you don't do it today, when would that be? So the question is, what is it worth it for you? If you say, well, do I want the marshmallow? If I want it, then get it. Then, if you don't, then don't. Just don't eat it just because people tell you to eat it, or don't
Right. Don't
restrain
not eat it
yourself
because
because.
people tell you to not eat it. Like eat
Right.
it or not eat it because you
That's
want
what
to
I'm
eat
saying
it or
is,
not eat it.
don't listen to anyone else other than yourself. Right? Yourself is what is more important in your perspective than anyone else.
Agree.
Man, tell me I'm wrong.
No,
Because
that's it. That's
what's
the
the
only thing that
point
matters.
of living a life where you have to pretend? Let's say you and I get together, right, for 3 years, and I pretend I like you, and I pretend I like the conversations. What kind of miserable existence would I have
That would
if
be
I do
awful.
that? And you say, hey, true, you gotta
Why didn't you just say
be.
this a long time ago? Like, you're like,
Say,
oh,
hey, you gotta be kind to other people. You have to give first. You have to, be this, whatever. Be a man. Be stronger. Why are you being such a baby, such a wuss,
right.
right? The thing is, what kind of miserable existence should I be? Can I do it? Yeah, I can. But do I want to? No, I don't want to.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
if you
yeah,
condition me to do so, I will. Because the thing is, I've been working my ass off for the last 20 plus years, 25 plus years, right? It's because I was told that's what I need to do, right?
yeah,
Even in between that, right? Because I told you I'm unemployable. I cannot be employed. I don't like to take orders from people. That's why in all my careers, most like 95% of all my work are contract work, because
right,
it's a short term commitment, and I don't fucking care about what happens, in the office, right? And so,
right.
because the thing is, to me, to take order from people is a miserable existence. And
Yeah,
a lot of time when I took a position, it's like the only reason why I took a position is because there is somebody in the company that I like and respect, and I want to be associated and connected with that person on the professional level. But then after that, people
okay,
move. It's like
right,
your boss, right?
right,
He hires you because you guys hit it off with common characteristics and preference, and then
right.
suddenly he get moved on, or somebody tell you
Yeah,
got to leave, right? And then what? You stuck at a place, and now it's like, well, I can't transition because this and that and other, and you're told to stay there, right?
right.
But even you and I right now, like even for you right now, you are still trying to figure out this, even though you know what you like. You know your slops already, and you
Yeah, yeah,
still can't transition yet. You are trying to figure that out right now, right?
yeah.
That's why I'm saying it is not easy. Even if you knew, it is much much harder
But damn
when
it,
you don't even know.
but damn it, I enjoy the shit out of the slops that I get to eat every single day when I get to eat it. But I don't get to eat it all day. I'd rather eat slops all day. You know what I mean? I'd rather eat the cake all day
But
long, right?
at
But
least
like,
you
and I'm
know
getting
that
there.
when there is a slab, you're gonna eat it, and then there's
Yeah.
when somebody offer you a
Oh, I'm gonna enjoy the shit out of it.
marshmallow
Yeah.
that you want, right? Say, I want that marshmallow, and you take it.
Yeah.
So don't go to say, hey, to have this success rate and whatever. You should be, the kids who are more successful in later in life because they restrain themselves. It's because they're chicken shit. Maybe they're chicken shit. So is that a indicator for success?
No.
Right, but who's to say? Who's to say that? Because that's what I'm saying is, people say, hey, because of this factor, you become this. Like we talked about before, you talk about a desirable disadvantage. You say, hey, when you have this advantage, you become this. Who to say that you wouldn't be better if you didn't
Oh
have the
man,
desirable disadvantage?
I gotta tell you this one actually, and we gotta put a pin on it after this because I gotta go to bed because it's almost 11 o'clock or 10:30 now. I, because Malcolm Gladwell is like crack to me. Like, I mean, whenever there's a Malcolm Gladwell, you know, compilation or book or whatever. So I have one more book. I have two more books actually left of Malcolm Gladwell's books that he's generated in his life. You know, one is The Bomber Mafia, which is his most recent book, and then he has this other book, which is a compilation of his podcast called Revisionist History, where it's a only specified about it's called Why I Hate the Ivy League. It's his like rantings and exploration into education. Ironically, one of the first portions of this exploration, he was talking about this kid named Carlos, who is from Los Angeles, and he lives in this like incredibly lower class, shit neighborhood or whatever, where it's almost an impossibility to be able to get to like a higher education level in America. And he's going through like describing this guy's life, and it's horrible. The kid's been in the foster system, his mom's in jail, but he's like brilliant, and these people want to try to help him, and they're trying to help him to get into, it's like Good Will Hunting almost, in a weird way. And this and at the end of this segment, he goes, I want to be crystal clear. Carlos' life is not desirable. Like, that is not something where, people would look at his life and they would go, well, because of all this, he's still persevered, and he's still, succeeded. And he's still, he's a college or a high school kid that's brilliant and working his butt off. And he made that statement. And I almost started laughing. I'm like, did you read your own writing? Like, you would have called that a desirable disadvantage, because Carlos is good, is only getting opportunities, and because he keeps persevering because of all the things that have been thrown in his face. How do you know that's not what drives him every single morning, Malcolm? That's because you fucking talked to the guy, and you're like, damn, this isn't desirable. Like, if Malcolm Gladwell would have gone and talked to me and said, hey, losing a child is a desirable disadvantage at a 30,000 foot overview.
Yeah, you become this Christian that later on that millions of people gonna admire. I don't fucking care who admires me as long as I have my child back.
Well, but if he interviewed me and he was actually saw me going through this stuff, he would go, oh, that's not a desirable disadvantage. Like, that's awful.
It's not desirable at all.
It's not desirable at all. Nobody desires this. So if Carlos becomes a massive success, despite of all the things that he went through, maybe like it has something to do with that, but it is definitely not desirable. I just thought I had to share that because I thought that was like, I started like chuckling as I was listening to this audiobook, and I was like, what the fuck did he just say? Like, that I thought he wrote a whole book about desirable disadvantages, and now he's sitting here talking about like
not desirable,
not desirable advantages. And I'm like, what am I talking about? I almost wanted to like go write him immediately and be like, hey. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
So that's also proof my point is like, what are you supposed to believe? What are you supposed to take out from books to books to books, right? And so
take what you want.
But why? If I know what I want, why am I reading your book?
Well, so here I've said take what you want. Like, so there's certain
you don't know.
Reading
John, you don't know what you don't know. So you the only thing you can do is if you are given a certain fact, right? If I say, if you put peanut butter, if you put coal in peanut butter and put it in the freezer, you turn into diamonds. You're gonna believe me if you don't know how it works, right? Or you tried it. You believe me. That's the thing is, if we have no point of reference, you have to take whatever people tell you as the point of truth,
right?
Until you can invalidate them. But if you have a point of reference, that's
or
why for me
or
and you, because
selectively listen,
we
you know. Like, I mean, like that
but
I
but
selectively
how
listen all the time to these
so
books, like where I'm like,
let's say
oh,
you
I'll take that,
okay,
I'll discard that, you know,
let's
because
say you
that
read
goes
two
to this,
books.
this goes to that.
Let's say you read two books. One is the desirable disadvantages and the undesirable advantages. Which one do you believe? It's from the same fucking author. Which one do you believe?
The irony of all ironies is it's irrelevant. I don't believe either one of them.
My
But what
point
I but
exactly.
what I
You
took out of this
can't
book
take either
already,
because your mind is completely confused.
but that doesn't
I,
mean that I didn't take something out of it though, right? Like, I mean, like
but
there was
my
I just
question to
was like,
you is
sort this way, sort this way, sort
if
this way.
you are a 15-year-old,
Oh yeah,
17-year-old,
right.
18-year-old kid, how do you decipher, okay, I won't take any of it? How would you know not to take it? You wouldn't.
Trial and
That's my
error. I mean, you got to get out there and live your shit, you know. It's
well,
all. I
that's what I'm
mean,
saying is
you got
that's
to
what
eat
I'm
your
saying.
slops.
That's what I'm saying. It's difficult for the kids.
It is
Difficult
hard.
for the kids nowadays. It's like I say, I look at my kids and I say, this world is created chaos for them. This technology is bombarding them with so much information, and a lot of them has nothing.
Hard
It's
to
not even
filter it.
true. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like whatever speaks the loudest is gonna win.
They don't have a filter, is what you're saying. They don't have the core values filter to go, oh, this, or a purpose or a mission to go, oh yeah,
Hmm.
okay, I'm going to take this, I'm going to apply it to that. Everything else, I don't care. Like everything else, I don't care. Oh wait, I took this out of this book that I just read. I'm going to apply it to my purpose, my mission, my values. Great. Everything else, I don't care. Like, I mean, that's basically what
I
I've been
mean, the thing is,
entire
I
journey, you
mean,
know.
the kids, right? You ask them, hey, do you like Biden? You like Trump? They will tell you. You know why? Because they've been told.
Um,
They have no
right,
idea
right.
who does what, who believes what. As long as you tell them, hey, Oprah should be, the god, fairy godmother for everybody. Anybody will believe it, right? Doesn't matter
Well,
what.
she does get cars. She does.
But my point is, whatever you want them to think, they will take it. They have no other reference to say no. They can't say,
They
well,
don't have a filter. They don't have
they
a
don't have
filter
a
to
filter.
filter it through.
There's nothing for them to filter it with. There's no
Right,
framework,
right.
right?
I mean, that
And that's my concern. That's why I keep saying this over and repeating myself. Is because this is very very close to me as far as because I have 4 kids and they are
right.
going through these phases where they ask me things. I say, well, it should be obvious, but why are you confused and questioning it, right? Because you shouldn't take people's word for the truth because people will say whatever they need to say to get you to believe what they want you to believe.
I mean, don't ever believe their words. Believe their actions is what you should believe, in my
And
opinion. But
so when you go back to the old days where, what about stranger danger? Why do you say stranger danger? Because somebody could say, hey,
because
I'm
you're
a friend
lying.
of
Yeah,
your mom,
right, right.
your mom is busy. I was at the nail salon with her, which is busy, and she lost her phone now. She told me to go pick you up from school. So
Yeah.
how do you, what kind of kid say, no, I don't know you. I'm not going to go with you. So you think about it.
Yeah.
If an adult says that to a kid, what does the kid do? I mean, the kid has to be very smart to say, I don't know, I'm kind of suspicious of it. Even if you're suspicious, they maybe may say something about your mom. Hey, your mom is driving this car, has an iPhone. I can give them like random information, and maybe some of them will coincide and say, yeah, my mom has this car, my mom has this iPhone, right? And then they'll, yeah, and so it's easy to fool a kid. And so
Right.
and that's in the old day. And then people could create this phrase where you talk about stranger danger, and people start to teach the kids, hey, don't talk to strangers, right? That's what I'm
Right.
saying. But nowadays everybody is everywhere, and it's not only that you stranger, but like people from other across the world in other countries that just talking to your kids. Like people go online and become, hey, I'm like somebody who is a 40-year old, creep trying to be a 11-year-old boy or girl talking to some, who do you know? Say, hey, what's your name? Where you live? And blah blah. It's like it's just I'm just talking to my friends. Do you know them? Who is he? Who's she?
Right.
Is he? Is he? Is she? Right? And so, how do you know? When my kid has no clue,
Yeah.
and even when I read these things, I don't know, right? And to me, that's very very hard to decipher what it is. And I'm saying it's tough for the kids.
It is. I could not agree more. It is.
It's tough for us.
Yeah,
It's tougher for them.
yeah. I mean, absolutely. I'm not envious of your time in your parenting life cycle, because that is not easy to go through, I'm
It's
sure.
not easy, but that's the thing we have
That's
to.
that's why you got to help coach them and teach them. You got to be your maven, man. Be the maven. Exchange info with these kids. Because I'm
Right, that's what I'm
sure you
saying.
did. Yeah.
They see me, as a person that has different opinions, and they will kind of cross reference with me when they say, hey, do you like this person? You like that person? He says this and says that. What do you think, right? And so I think having that kind of an outlet is also, um, uh, one positive thing about the company is you have this place, this track where you can go and say, hey, let me become a soundboard for somebody who's lost.
Right. Yep. I agree. All right. Well, I'm gonna have to put a pin on it for that because it's officially really late. But thanks for joining. The question we can leave with everybody is how how are you remind yourself how do you remind yourself to cherish the times when you get to live your purpose? So when
What's
you
your
get it
slaps?
yeah, what's your slops, and how do you remind yourself to enjoy those slops when you get a chance to really eat those every day, hopefully. But cherish it when you do. So thanks for joining, and we will see you all tomorrow night.
Okay, sounds good. See you.